can hear you.
All right.
Coach, was Kennedy just the minutes kept this evening, or was there something else going on?
No, there's nothing else going on. This is a getaway game from home. We needed to play it more a little bit like a playoff rotation.
Looked like you were on the pick and rolls and were really hunting Bree Jones. What do you think really made that so successful for you guys today?
I think it was a combination. Setting better screens for one. Attacked better than the next person help with some long kicks. We shoot the ball particularly well from three, but we got some good kicks out of it. We just haven't go down. We'll get better at that as we go. But I thought, overall, we got a good balance. We obviously didn't score a ton in the second half. So,
Coach, 15 first half points from Elena. Didn't score at all in the second half, but it kind of became more scoring by committee in the second half. What did you make of her performance and the way she was impacting the
I
game?
thought she was really good. And in the second half, they decided they were going to double team her, and she found open people. Got shots because of her. She got some wide open looks. She found Shakira one time underneath. Ariel got some looks. We're going to take away some of those double teams if we find out that everybody else is beating them. And that's kind of where we were 2 years ago with her. Is that it's that you pick your poison. But I think the other part of it is they zoned her a little bit and try to keep her from catching the ball in comfortable spots. So other people have to step up.
Yeah,
and that's what we didn't do particularly well in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and then talking Natasha for a little bit, a lot of critical steals in the third quarter. That big steal right at the end of the fourth to stem the bleeding a little bit. What can you make of her performance both on the offensive and defensive side?
It was terrific. I mean, she guarded Williams, she guarded Miss Thomas, she guarded Bonner a little bit. That's why we think she's an all-elite defender. I thought she made sure tonight that we got a lot of really good quality possessions. She played 33 minutes with no turnovers. I think the worst of our turnovers were late in the game. They really weren't as a result of her. I think a lot of people just bringing the ball all over the place.
Yeah, and then one more, Ariel showed a lot of really, really good shot creation. What did you make of her performance tonight?
12 points, 6 assists. That's a really good night. And we're not having situations maybe in games like this where we're getting 17 or 18 point games from her. This is a game where Elena's out there and other people are making shots. I thought she deferred to Shatori a few times, but Shatori had the open looks. So that's good basketball if you do share it.
You mentioned some of the positives. Is there anything in particular today that you like that you want to see carry forward?
I think this was a very, very, very good defensive game until the last couple of minutes. I didn't think, our players, I thought they let up when they took their starters out. And Clown and Carrington get going. Take those few 4 or 5 possessions out of the game. I thought we had a special defensive game tonight.
How did you like the first starting lineup together?
It was nice. I don't know how many minutes it ended up being together, but it was pretty good. And I made sure I put it back in. Shakira wasn't really feeling very well, so I limited her minutes tonight. Same with Maisha. They just, they're not 100%. And I thought Elizabeth Williams came in and just played terrific. Her defense, Jones and Jonathan Jones was excellent.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question about Elizabeth. Just like over the course of the season, it feels like she's kind of done what you needed her to do, even if she's like not catching everybody's eye all the time. Is that fair?
That's who she is. She's never been a flashy player by any means at all. She does the grinded out work, the rebounding, shot blocking, defending. And tonight, she was able to make them pay a couple times in a row there for scores when, same thing. Elena's getting, an extra defender toward her. Somebody like Elizabeth or Shapiro has to cash in. She did.
Hey, Coach. Tosh, post game was talking about how
got that championship mentality.
In pregame. Oh,
At New York, and then you look at this game, it just revved up. Even the first quarter, you committed no turnovers. Just what did you see from just, I guess, the previous game to tonight?
just got rid of a bunch of careless possessions. We didn't have very many till we got to the fourth quarter. You know, you could play against a quality team and get more shots than them because you don't turn it over. You force them to take uncomfortable shots, and you have a great chance to win. I thought that was a carryover to that.
That third quarter, if you can walk me back to that, Coach. Just what did you think of the defense you guys put on John Quill?
I wasn't thinking of anybody in particular. I just thought our defense in general was good in that quarter. We were holding, we went back-to-back quarters. We held them to 10 in the second and 14 in the third. We weren't putting on any offensive clinic, but we were forcing them to take tough shots the whole quarter. That's a group effort. That's what I was talking about before the game, about everybody being connected. Nobody letting go of the rope. You gotta, you stay with it, and that's how I thought we played.
Coach, 4 games in the next 6 days. You got a game a week from today, and then in between that, 3 road games.
We don't have a game.
Or isn't it Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday. Today's.
Oh, today's Sunday. Yep, how about that? So 3 games.
You got me worried now.
So, 3 games in the next 6 days. I mean, it's still kind of a rough schedule, and you have travel mixed in between that. How do you, prepare for that?
Watch a lot of film, get our bodies rested. Get to LA tomorrow. Full workout, doing massages and film work. We won't be on the court tomorrow. We have some bodies that need to recover.
And then just kind of what is the mental approach to that? Then, like when people obviously it was kind of hard traveling back and forth recently. Talked about it.
It is what it is. It's the same for everybody. Every team goes through it. We've played the most games I think of anybody in the league right now, and that will continue for the next week. But once we get to July, it kind of eases up for a little bit. We'll get a little practice time. We'll get a couple of minutes off here and there. We can, basically it's called survive your schedule mode. And that's kind of where we are. And this is one of those games that it's a huge kickoff to going on a road trip.
We'll go to Zoom. Patrick?
Hey, Coach, with today being the 25th anniversary of the home game, I know back in that time, I believe you were in the NBA at that time, maybe with the Bucks.
Yep.
Can you kind of just talk about your feelings with the league? Obviously, we know how you feel about the league now, but back then when the league first started, any initial thoughts on the league and with Washington?
Well, I wasn't in Washington, so I didn't really, have that as a focal point. I knew that, major cities and NBA cities were having teams. I was friends with people, even when I was in the NBA, I was friends with people who were either coaches or GMs in the WNBA. Some were former NBA people. I knew who all told me that I would love the league if I ever came into it. I knew some of the players. I was friends with a couple players who had played professionally in the women's game overseas. And so I kind of knew, followed it, from afar. I mean, I have my own job to do every day, and, you don't get a chance to watch everything, but I had a chance to watch some of the games. I remember watching some of the playoff games from back then. It was Houston Comet teams and New York teams. Were fun to watch. Watch the LA team. Those were the teams I got to see more on TV because that's who got on TV. We didn't have a chance to watch games every day, but I find that NBA people are fans of the WNBA just because they respect the players and the coaches in the league, and so a lot of us in the NBA, we're aware of what's going on and follow teams. A lot of the NBA teams were owners of the WNBA teams back then, so you had an immediate connection.
And I'm blinded over here by the ring that you got on your hand right now. Did you feel like breaking that out for the special
Hall of
education?
Fame and 25th anniversary and need a win, a reminder it was against Connecticut kind of day. So I had all that thrown into one. It's a reminder to players when you're drawing up plays and timeouts, this is what we played for.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach.
That's it, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Elena. So 15 first half points tonight. Not a point in the second half, but you were impacting the game still in a lot of different ways. What did you make of your performance tonight and the team as a whole?
I felt really good tonight. Each game is different and kind of using it as practice. This season is so short. There's games I've been out of, just trying to get different looks and continue to attack. But we have such a great team, so at any moment, someone else attacks, and you never really have to force much. So in the second half, it felt more of a crowd, trying to find other people as well.
Yeah, and Ariel, kind of similar question to you. Obviously, you had a pretty good scoring night, but also there were times where when you had harder looks, you were passing it off to Shatori. What did you make of your performance tonight in terms of scoring and facilitating the ball?
I think I slowed down a lot better tonight. And it always helps me got somebody like Shatori on the backside to knock down shots.
And then obviously, 3 games in the next 6 days is going to be a tough push, lots of traveling. Kind of what's mentally what you do to kind of get yourself psyched up for each game and kind of a long, tough run.
I just have a pretty long process and kind of know what it takes to get ready for each game. So just trusting in that process and doing everything I possibly have to get my body ready and prepared for the next one.
Yeah, for me, it's the same thing. It's just recovery. Just making sure that I'm taking care of our bodies, hydrating, and doing the best that we can to prepare ourselves mentally for the run.
Hey, Elena, I know we talked about the offense. We had a great night, but the defense, going back to those 2 blocks back to back on John Quill, you hold them to a low scoring night. Just what does that say about the team defense mentality?
That's been our identity all season long. Our defense has been really solid, and when we play consistent, great defense for 4 quarters, we won games. So it's huge that we all do our part individually, and then obviously be there for the team defense, have each other's back.
Ariel, at the game against the Liberty, Tasha said, guys got to get back to that championship mentality, championship defense. How'd you like how you responded tonight?
I really like how we respond tonight. I think if you kind of play closer attention to the game, we were on a string a lot more for this game, and our communication was at a high level tonight.
Yesterday, you guys had the Hall of Famers at practice. How is that having them there? Did they, give you advice or say anything?
They don't even have to say anything, just their presence and having them there is motivation. This organization is what it is today because of them. So the moment they step foot in this place, you want to impress them. You want to hold yourself to the highest standard possible.
And was there, does it feel good that you guys played so well on a day where you are inducting that class into the first Hall of Fame?
It always feels good when you can give a show to the people that you are, by hoping that you show them that you don't take it lightly, that you get to wear this uniform.
And just one last one for me. Obviously Shakira not feeling 100%, but just, particularly against a Connecticut team that is so big and so deep in that front court, how big do you feel like her contributions were on the glass, and then Elizabeth Williams coming in as well defensively?
That was huge for Shakira and Maisha to both push through what they were feeling. They looked awful before the game. I was actually shocked when they started suiting up. I was like, wait, you're playing tonight? So super impressed with their will, their grit, because I'm sure they weren't feeling good at all. And then for other players to step up and for the guards to play so big and help us on the rebounds was huge. We don't win the game without a massive team effort.
You guys gotta stock up on that vitamin C. Don't let that spread.
Yeah, I know. It's like everybody stay away.
Elena, for you, the long flights, is there anything that you guys try and do to mitigate?
Yeah, I'm not on the LA trip, and I'm flying out to Seattle early. So headed out West Coast early, get a couple days to kind of flush that out. I'll be with my trainer for those days. He's flying out with me. Just, be there early, get it out, and get ready, and continue my process in Seattle.
Ariel, a couple of weeks ago, I think Coach T said that you were with Team USA, you were able to just observe a lot of the breaks and how they prepare and things like that. How have you this season started to maybe alter how you prepare?
I would say kind of the way that I watch film, and I did observe with Team USA, but that's something that I've been more adamant about asking my older players and our coaches about this year as well. And not necessarily overloading myself with information. I think knowing my threshold of information is really important.
Yeah, and then just kind of my last question, Ariel, talking about kind of backcourt defense, the critical role that Natasha played, and that you played kind of picking up those kinds of steals. Like, what was it for you that allowed you to communicate so well tonight and get those kinds of plays?
My team was talking behind me. I think when you hear us all talking, life is different for the person at the top of the key. Because I don't know what's going on behind me. So for them to talk more and talk louder, it's a lot easier for me to be able to be in the great position.
We'll go to Zoom. We'll start with Christos.
Hey, ladies, congratulations on the win. Great effort, first of all. Ariel, question for you. How better this team can be as the season goes on both ends of the floor?
I think we can be really good. I think we're definitely finding a rhythm offensively, and we've got different people stepping up every night. But I think defensively, you see us getting better and better. And we just have to actually use these games to build on them and grow.
Thank you very much. And for you, Elena, the whole defensive effort, especially the first 3 quarters, how affects to your offensive game as a team?
How does their defense affect our offense?
Your offense, yes.
I mean, we come out attacking and we try to find the open person, and then as the game goes on, they throw different things at us. They're a great team. They have a lot of size and length, so just trying to move the ball side to side and find the next open person instead of letting it stick and letting their length affect us.
Thank you very much.
Last question to Patrick.
Hey, kind of talking about earlier, you mentioned having a Hall of Fame class there. I'm sure the goal for you is, to win each game, ultimately win another championship. But is there a point where you start kind of thinking about the future for both of you having a day like this in the future of the franchise? I mean, having coach, having both of you there.
I'm trying to think about that right now. I'm trying to play as long as I can.
I'm too young to be thinking about that. And I have too much to focus on right now. Get my body right for the next one. But I mean, certainly, hopefully we can continue to impact this organization and make them proud. And maybe one day, and I'll be back here, but far away, far days.
And because earlier in media day, Ariel, I asked you about the first 25 years, and you talked about how important going into the next 25, not only on the court, but off the court. Things that have been going on recently, again, unfortunately, reminders of what's going on. Is that kind of what you were talking about? Just about the importance of making sure that you use your voice, that you make a statement, that you do positive things in the community?
Yeah, I think that's one of the benefits of being a WNBA player is the amount of resources that you have and how small knit it is. So you're allowed to get into the community. You're allowed to meet community leaders and kind of be on the forefront. So I enjoy that, and I'm all about leaving people in places better than you found them, and being a part of the Mystics and my mental. It's bigger than just being an athlete. I think the biggest thing that we can do is make sure that the surrounding area around us, Ward 8, knows that we're not just here just to play basketball. Like, we're here to use our resources to the best of all of our ability.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you both. That's it.
Appreciate y'all.
Safe
Safe travels, guys. Elizabeth, Coach was just singing the praises in here, talking about that even though you're not super flashy, that you impact the team incredibly, especially on defense. Can you talk about your process today, your mentality, how you came out and impacted that game so much?
Yeah, we're really trying to form an identity on defense. So really just wanted to come out and bring that focus on the game plan and how we wanted to guard and the energy defensively. So that's when I come in, that's what I want to do. Obviously, offensively, this team does have a lot of weapons. So, creating space, putting myself in good positions, knowing when to roll, flash, things like that. But yeah, we're just trying to define ourselves on the defensive end of the floor. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and then kind of talking a little bit more about that, playing with someone like Elena, who's been in the league so long and working so hard at what she does, and the way she's able to impact the game both offensively and defensively. What is it like kind of working with her?
Yeah, she's great. She garners a lot of respect on both ends of the floor. I think really have to have a serious game plan when she's out there. So I just try to compliment her in any way. She's a tough matchup, whether it's guards or posts. So, I'm just happy to play with her and just be able to help her anyway.
You talked about kind of like defensive mindset, defensive identity. Like in terms of establishing that, like what do you have to do like in practice, kind of not on the court to like establish that kind of identity, of a tough team?
Yeah, showing toughness, being aggressive, making things difficult for the other team. I was really glad we actually got to practice yesterday. Obviously, teams don't get a lot of practice time with this schedule, so even just being able to talk through things and then play through that was, I think, really helpful for us. So try to take advantage of that.
Get it.
Yeah, Elizabeth, you look at the New York game compared to tonight's game. How did you like the response and the defensive intensity?
That was really good. I think, you kind of have to kind of throw certain games away, but still try to learn from them. And I thought we did a good job of that. And especially as we're about to head into this road trip, I thought it was really important for us to be able to learn from the past game and then look to this one. But yeah, I thought the focus was way better.
And I asked you 2 weeks ago, but just yesterday, for that moment, for you and Mark, just be in this facility, share that moment. Just what did that mean to you?
Yeah, it was really cool. He was at the game today too, so just having him be around a professional environment and be able to work out, and obviously this is a huge week for him, and sad to be part of that too. It's really cool. It's great. We worked really hard, and to get to this moment, it's awesome.
How was it having the Hall of Famers at practice yesterday?
Oh, it was great. I think this league has been around for not a long time, but kind of a long time. But players like that, I think the league is old enough where we have watched enough players and seen how they impacted from college into the league. So for them to be here and just talk about that and also be recognized for that, I think is really important for the growth of the league moving forward.
Is it significant to you that you guys did play so well on such an important day for the franchise?
Yeah, I think it's big. It's always you always have in the back of your mind when you're playing for something more. And I think when you think about the history of this team and this franchise and what they've been able to do, it's I'm glad to be part of it. I'm glad it's part of why I signed here. There's a lot of history here, and so I think we did have it in the back of our mind to do something.
You were growing up, Muriel mentioned that she's trying to introduce players to WNBA players. When you were younger, did you look up to WNBA players, or did you have any favorite women's players?
I actually really like Yolanda Griffin. I was surprised people, but I thought she was she just did the dirty work,
Yeah.
I tried to watch as much as I could. My first game that I actually went to was a Mystics game. It's from Virginia Beach. But I think it's really important for kids to watch and have idols, boys and girls, to have professional female athlete idols. So yeah.
How old were you when you went to that Mystics game?
I was probably it's AU times.
Got it.
Yeah.
If we're finished with in-person questions, we'll go over to Zoom for one question. Christos?
Elizabeth, great game, great win, first of all. Speaking about your role, how comfortable you feel so far on that, and how you embrace your role in the team?
Yeah, I feel more comfortable now. A couple of weeks ago, I was, just adjusting from playing overseas, but now I feel much more comfortable, understanding what I need to do coming off the bench. And I embrace that. It doesn't bother me if I'm starting coming off the bench. It really doesn't bother me. Just, coming in and doing what I have to do.
And also, did you see yesterday your brother Mark at the Wizards pre-draft workout? Have you got any talk with him about that?
Yeah, he said his workout went well. He was at the game today too. We hung out a little bit yesterday, and we'll hang out a little today before he goes back. But yeah, it was great to just hang out with him.
Thank you very much.
I think that's it, Elizabeth. Thank you.